My Atlanta Falcons have made a couple of free agency additions so far in the 2025 offseason. So how will that affect their approach to the draft? My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to do another 3-round mock draft for you here in a second. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the Tracy Take, tackle that bell, and leave a like and a comment. Let us know what you want to see the Falcons do come April. Ryan, let's pull up the Falcons mock draft. They've already made a couple of key moves as well, like signing long snapper Liam McCullough to a 4-year extension. And then they have made some other moves on top of that as well. And so they did end up getting Leonard Floyd from San Francisco as well, who's the edge rusher, and then also signed Divine Diablo, the linebacker from Las Vegas. The reason why I say that specifically is one, those are the only two actually external free agencies that they've signed so far. But that I think is probably like the primary need still for this team is that front seven. I think even though they signed both of those guys, they're on short-term deals. Leonard Floyd's just 1 year. Divine Diablo's technically 2, but I think it's a front-loaded contract on the first year. And I don't think that's going to affect their overall decision at all when it comes to, I think, addressing the front seven. They cut Grady Jarrett, so they could go defensive tackle here. We need more sacks, so I could see them absolutely getting another outside edge rusher if Mike Green falls to them. James Pierce Jr. was still on the board. We ended up going a little different route this time. We ended up going with Jihaad Campbell. I really like this prospect as a whole. Very athletic, very explosive, very versatile. I think when we saw this team have a lot of success last year was when Caden Ellis started to blitz a little bit up the middle and provide some more pressure. So I think if you get a younger guy as well to go along with that, and it can mix coverages up a little bit, it'd be interesting. I think another thing too as well is we'd love to keep seeing Troy Anderson play. When he does play, a lot of fun to watch. He just keeps getting hurt, and so he's coming into his last year in his rookie contract as well. So I think you got to maybe start preparing for life post Troy Anderson. And so Jihaad Campbell is a guy that I really like as well. A couple of the routes they could maybe go cornerback. They did lose out in the DJ Reed sweepstakes. That's probably going to be a long shot anyways. But if they do want to go interior, start to replace Grady Jarrett, Kenneth Grant was on the board. He's a guy I really like. I think he'd be a big, meaty guy you put in the middle there next to Rook, next to David Onyemata. And so you could also go Derek Harmon also as well. But Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. What do you think of Jihaad Campbell? What do you think of that he can bring to this Falcons team?
Yeah, he's just a really smart football player. I think he is going to be the green dot for this defense, and I don't know. He's so good athletically. He can come down and I think he can be a really good like edge rusher in pass rushing situations on third downs and whatnot. And I just feel like he gives this defense a lot of versatility. He's a great leader. Everything you hear coming out of Alabama is that he is a very high character guy as well. And so I just really like the fit here. I especially think with the departure of Grady Jarrett, I feel like this Falcons defense needs that leader. And I feel like Jihaad Campbell can come in and be that for them. I know they have AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, and I'm sure they have other leaders in the locker room as well. But Jihaad Campbell looks like, to me, is a 8-year captain at linebacker, and he's just a really, really good football player. And so I like the fit here for the Falcons a lot.
Well, and I also think too is instead of just getting another defensive lineman, I mean, we drafted Rook last year, we drafted Brandon Dorless, we did also draft Braylon Trice, who unfortunately tore his ACL. So looking forward to seeing him come and play and see how he can contribute. We do have Arnold Ebiketie. He started to pick up a little bit more as well. He's that outside linebacker, more pure edge rusher. So I think getting a guy like Jihaad Campbell, as you talked about, he can blitz, he can drop back into coverage, he can be that captain, he can eventually turn into that middle of the field captain as well. And so I think instead of just throwing like another edge rusher out there, and we'll get to edge rusher here in a second, but I think you go and get probably the best linebacker in this class. And so as well, I think another serious option too, just the last one for what the Falcons could do in this first round is trade back. They only have 4 picks in this draft as a whole. I could see them trading back, get some more draft capital for this year, or shoot, maybe even 2 if you want to get some more draft capital for next year. I wouldn't hate that as a whole. So, but we'll kind of have to wait and see how that ends up shaping out. I feel like they will get a couple of comp picks next year with a couple of guys moving on, like Drew Dahlman, for example. So, but moving on though to the second round here. Have them going with Princley Umanmielen. I just like saying that name now that I know I can pronounce it correctly. So I'd love to see him in a Falcons uniform. It only took me several months to get it correctly, but I do think this is going to be a guy. If you're looking for a scheme fit overall, he's definitely going to be that more outside linebacker type guy as well. Very explosive coming out of Ole Miss, so I think he would be a great addition overall if you really want to focus on that front seven. Now that being said, if we wanted to get another receiver, I think this would be a great spot to do it here. A lot of the top receiver or second round receivers are starting to come off the board around this time. Guys from well, we wouldn't get Jaden Higgins. He is Drake London, but guys like Jack Bech,
Yeah.
guys like Xavier Restrepo, guys like maybe Jalen Royals or Ty Felton, guys that could be good long term complement number two receivers for Drake London. I think would be great. If we want to maybe get a center, this Jared Wilson is the next guy, but he's definitely more of a third round kind of guy. So this is where maybe if you want to trade back again, try and find some replacement from there. Because as of right now, Ryan Neusel is the starting center as of right now, and he's played some time over the past couple of years when Drew Dahlman's been hurt. So, but Ryan,
Yeah.
want to throw it over to you here. What do you think of Princley, and what do you think of some other potential options the Falcons could go?
Princley is twitched up, man. He is just explosive off the edge. He's a phenomenal pass rusher. I do think in the Falcons 3-4 system, he's not going to be asked nearly as much to like take on tackles as he was at Ole Miss that played with kind of 4 down linemen. And so that will limit his exposure in the run game as well. But also with the Falcons, they have a large amount of edge rushers, but I think Princley would definitely be very heavily used in true pass rushing situations early on in his career, and then could potentially develop into more of a 3-down player. So I like the fit here. I know the Falcons, they drafted defensive linemen like crazy in 2024. So starting off here, they get 2 defensive front 7 players as well. I do agree. Maybe that second pick could be used to go and get a wide receiver. I was looking at the Falcons depth chart, and Ray McLeod is that the third receiver. You have Darnell Mooney and Drake London. I like those two, but after that, I mean, holy cow, there's a whole lot of nothing on that
Yeah,
in that room. Like you have Chris Blair, Kadero Hodge, who had the one catch against Tampa Bay in overtime for a touchdown.
yeah,
But
but
then like
he's a special teams guy,
yeah,
really.
like
So
there's a whole lot of nothing there, and so I feel like that is a really interesting need for this team. And so I also like I don't know how much free agency money that they still have at this point. We're recording this on Thursday, March 13th, but if they could go and make a run at like a Stephon Diggs, or even like if Cooper Kupp would want to come in and see if they could get like a smaller 1 to 2 year deal on one of those guys, I feel like might be of interest just to add some depth to this room, so they're not maybe forced to take a wide receiver earlier on than what I originally expected.
maybe so. Yeah, no, I mean, and we drafted Casey Washington last year, to kind of hopefully be that guy. We were hoping he would be Puka Nakua. And so, but like, so maybe he develops in this year. I do think you can absolutely upgrade over Ray McLeod. I know Darnell Mooney was close to being 1,000-yard receiver last year, but his games definitely were more. I felt more boom or bust as a whole, and a lot of it was very top heavy with like some of Kirk Cousins like big explosive stats games.
Mhm.
So not saying he's not good, but I think once again though too, there's looking for more longer term number two options. Drake London, I expect Drake London to actually have a great year this year. Him and Michael Penix really connected over these last couple of games. Even in that Washington game, I think London had like 150 receiving yards in that game. And it just felt like that 10 to 15 yard out route or hitch route was just money between the two of them. And so I expect a lot of that this year. So
Yeah.
you want to have another good option on the other side. So if they like, we're going to double cover Drake London, then you got a legit option on the other side that is going to have one-on-one coverage. So, but that being said, though, they were tampering with Kirk Cousins. They traded for Matt Judon. All worth it in the end, obviously. No regrets whatsoever on losing the draft picks. Sarcasm, by the way, just because like we would really like those picks as of right now. But it is what it is. You just got to take it one step at a time here. Very curious to see what happens with Kirk Cousins. I'm still skeptical that they're going to keep him on the roster. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if the Browns offer like, hey, we'll take the cap space and we'll give you like a 6th-round pick. I would be like, take it. Let's just not even let's move on from it. I was saying that all last year, especially when Kirk Cousins started to his quality of play started to go down. It's like when you turn that Michael Penix page, you're not going back. You
Yeah.
put the 8th-round pick, 8th overall pick on him, and when you turn that page that one time, you're like, nope, we got to stick with it here. And so
Yeah.
that's, I think, once again, you're on this gravy train. Let's just keep riding out. And I think Penix can take us to the. Well, I hope he can. I have no idea. So that's what we all said about Kirk Cousins, and now we're here.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the potential to. The big thing with him is just health, and then like his national championship performance was just not up to par. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that wasn't entirely his fault. Like the Washington game, that Michigan defense is just
but
studs.
no, it was,
The
yeah,
Michigan defense included Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, included Will Johnson, included a lot of guys as right now too who are playing in the NFL. So I I wouldn't hold that too much against him as a whole. And especially now too, I think being in a Falcon system, I I think he can do fine. I don't think that was
yeah,
his the full fault. The full weight of that loss was on him, but we'll see how he does in his sophomore year, full season as a starter.
yeah. So with that said, let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of this Falcons 3-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.